I'm Leon, living in New York. I am very lucky to have a happy family. My parents have been together for more than 20 years. My brother, Jason, is 10 years older than me. He also has a small, happy family with his wife and daughter. That day was my parents' silver wedding anniversary. The whole family held a cozy party and took a commemorative photo together. My mother wore an old wedding dress. She was really beautiful at the age of 48. My father was also stylish in a white shirt. Parents said sweet words to each other. They thanked each other for their 25 years of companionship. My brother got his camera ready. My niece, Fiona, enjoys running around. My brother looked at Fiona happily and took a few pictures of her. When the whole family arranged a position to take photos, Fiona suddenly started crying and was not cooperating. Fiona is almost 2 years old this year. She walks quite well but is slow to speak. She cried and then reached towards my mother as if she wanted my mother to hold her. When she sat on my mother's lap, she immediately became happy again. The whole family laughed because of Fiona's cuteness. Everyone looked at the camera and smiled brightly. After taking photos, everyone continued the party and danced together. More than a week after, my brother took the photos to be developed. After dinner, everyone brought out the photos to look at. I was startled when I held the photos in my hand. In the photos my brother took of Fiona, she was chasing a boy. The photo doesn't show his face clearly. Looking at his height, I guess the boy is about 3 years old. I quickly picked up the other photos to look at. In the family photo, that boy appeared again. That boy stood next to my mother, playing with Fiona. So she cried for my mother because she wanted to continue playing with that boy. I was startled again. In all the photos, I was not there. But the strange thing is that my parents did not have any questions or panic reactions when looking at the photos. They smiled and complimented my brother for taking beautiful photos. They didn't even see the other boy like me. Suddenly, my mother was thoughtful and then burst into tears. "I wish there were more Leon and Marcus in the family photo," my mother said with a choked voice. "Leon and Marcus? I'm Leon. I'm here, right? And who is Marcus? Are there any other family members that I don't know about?" The family atmosphere fell silent. No one paid attention to my questions, except for Fiona, who ran to hug me as if to comfort me. I hugged Fiona, but a series of questions appeared in my mind. Looking closely at the family photo, that boy's face is very familiar. Another evening, I was in the bedroom with Fiona, who is very attached to me. We will play together for a while before the baby falls asleep. I stayed and watched Fiona for a while before returning to my room. But that day when I walked out the door, Fiona suddenly woke up. The little girl whined and asked me to stay. I quickly hugged Fiona to comfort her, and in just a moment she smiled. Fiona looked at me intently and she said, "Friend." When my sister-in-law heard Fiona crying, she also ran over worriedly. As soon as she entered, she witnessed Fiona's first words. My sister-in-law happily picked up the baby and ran to the room to show it to my brother. The happy laughter of the small family also made me laugh unconsciously. One beautiful morning, my parents wore black clothes and looked sad. My parents told me and my brother's family that they wanted to take us to visit some people. I was quite curious but didn't ask much, but did what my parents said. My family stopped the car in front of the gate of a large cemetery. I went last, following the whole family into the cemetery. My mother sadly knelt and cried at a grave. My father and brother tried to comfort her. Coming closer to look at the tombstone, I was shocked to see that the names printed on the tombstone were Marcus and Leon. Looking at the two small photos on the stele, I was startled to recognize the boy in the family photo. It turned out that boy's name was Marcus. The other photo is me, Leon. That boy and I only have different eye colors. Everything before my eyes gradually blurred. Echoing in my ears were the sounds of police cars and ambulances, followed by the sound of crying, the sound of my parents calling out Leon and Marcus's names in pain and helplessness. Before my eyes appeared the scene of the bodies of two twin boys covered in blood and open wounds. The two boys lay on top of each other in a pool of blood. A man holding a sharp knife stood looking at the bodies of two boys with wide eyes full of red veins. The tight pain throughout my body pulled me back to the present. My body was covered in scars. They began to bleed and hurt. My mother was still kneeling and crying next to the grave. Fiona walked up, pointed to the picture of me and Marcus on the grave and said, "You."